Welcome to DC. You know we're out at the USA Cup. You're taking it slightly, I'm taking it slightly. Now how you throw apple, you gon' be right back. Well, we gon' be right here, we gon' be right here. We ain't going nowhere. Welcome to DC. DC, the home of Chuck Brown. Oh, you don't know the sound? Well, let me break it down. The G-O, the G-O, the M-A and B-O. See though, we've been pumping crank since an embryo, really though.
All right, this is the Big Douglas Show, a victory Monday. That's right, a victory on a Monday. Feels so good. Rapper Big Pooh is in the building. What's up, Pooh?
It's good. It's good. Well, it's all good after Washington win. It doesn't matter how close. A W is a W. It's all that matters.
And we'll take them. Street scorer Rico stopped by. What's up, Rico?
Yes, sir, man. I needed that, man. Don't hate any team more than the Falcons. So that was big for me. That was huge.
Down in enemy territory, I know it felt good to get that W yesterday. And Big Swaggy's in the place. What's up, man? How you doing?
Man, I'm good. How you guys doing, man?
Doing good.
Good.
Yes,
So,
sir.
Swaggy, I'm always interested. The kicker was out on show yesterday. What's the rest of the team feel like when you watch the kicker miss 2 extra points? Is it, oh, well, on to the next play? Do you get heated? What does that feel like from the player's perspective?
It's like, God damn, man, make the damn kick. You got one job. That's to kick a ball. Don't miss it. It is frustrating, but I think that's why the NFL changed that rule, because now the point after is not an automatic point. It's always interesting to see if this guy's going to make this kick now. But honestly, when you're sitting at practice, you look around the special teams guys, and they're always just playing around with the ball, playing soccer with the ball, working on their snaps, working on their game. And then they get in a game and freaking kick a ball that's 36 yards. They kick it wide left. I mean, that's frustrating, especially if you're in a tight game. You know what I mean?
And the coach doesn't seem to be concerned about replacing him. When asked again today, Rivera said he's the kicker. Is that something that the team even cares about, or it's just like whatever, on to the next?
No, I think the team cares a lot about special teams. So many games are won and lost, by special teams. Whether it's a punt to back a team up, or whether it's kicking an onside kick to get the ball back. Our kicker is very important to team success. You know what I mean? So Dustin is definitely a really good kicker. You just got to, figure out what's going on, what's going wrong, and make those switches in practice and just get it together, because he's definitely a good kicker. He was very reliable when I was there. So he just got to figure out what's going wrong and fix it quick, because, with the team that we have, every point is valuable. We can't leave 2-3 kicks. 2 or 3 points out there. Every time we get the opportunity, we have to go out there and take advantage of it.
Who, the quarterback, was out there making things happen yesterday. The kid looked great. You can say a whole lot of things about the game yesterday, but you cannot say that 4 was the problem. He looked great.
And Heineken we trust.
And Heineken we trust. Look, man, this is Heineken in a nutshell. We know he doesn't have the strongest arm. We know he doesn't have the most experience, but he's going to go out there and give you everything he got. And he's going to take some chances with the ball. But if he didn't take chances, McLaurin wouldn't have had that first touchdown or that second touchdown. So, you gotta kind of live and die by some of the chances he take. But he did what he's supposed to do yesterday. He orchestrated the offense the best he could. I mean, that offensive line still, trying to jam. Yeah, when Sheriff went out, it was trouble over there for 76. It was, it got a little rocky for him. But I mean, we knew that was going to be a thing when you're starting a rookie, second round pick, right tackle. He's not going to come in and be lights out. That's rare. So they're making some things work, man. I mean, I'll say this. The offense looks totally different from last year's offense. And that's a good thing. So
They're scoring points.
They're scoring points. Like I wouldn't even, did we even hit 30 one time last year?
Once time last year.
Right.
Once last year.
Yeah.
Once last year, once the year before that, and I believe once the year before that as well.
Yeah, so I'm not complaining. We need to get this defense on the same page. That's the issue here. It's not even the offense. It's the defense. We talked about this last week. The miscommunications in the secondary, like these are big. Like how you let Cordell Patterson score 3 touchdowns yesterday?
I thought Cordell was back in Tennessee again.
Man, listen, like it was crazy. He was scoring from everywhere. But the miscommunications in the backfield, you know, the I don't know why Jamin Davis. Well, he's going to have to get more playing time now.
Right, it sounds like McTyer and Davis out for Bostic out for the year now.
Out for the year. So I saw a play he made. I don't know if y'all remember this play because it wasn't really consequential, but it was. He came in. It was right after. It was the next series after Bostic got hurt, I think. And he came in and he diagnosed the play, and they did a sweep or something to the outside, and he got over there so quick. And it ended up being like a 1 yard or a half yard gain. And I'm like, yo, that's what I'm talking about. Like, this kid the defense is giving up all types of yards and points. Let the kid play. Let him play. Let him. Veterans are out there making mistakes. He's a rookie. Let him play and make the mistakes. He's going to be better for it. So,
Chris, they got a whole new secondary out there, basically, compared to what they had out there. I mean, at the end of last year, it was Moreland, Reeves, Curl, Fuller. You've replaced that with a couple of guys that like to play press, but we're not playing much man. Explain to me what's going on here with the secondary. Is it talent or communication?
It looked like communication to me. I saw a play and McCain, he talked about in his press conference. That was a wild press conference, but he talked about in his press conference where he said, you know, the big play where Cordell got over top of him, and he said that was his fault because he jumped down on the tight end. He's like, we saw that, but that's not the first time that's happened. Not necessarily to him, but that's like the third time we've seen that safety rotate down and jump the under route. And William Jackson III was playing off coverage, and the big play was had. 2 of them scored, and Slayton dropped the pass on one. It's like y'all keep making the same mistakes.
Swaggy with McCain and William Jackson. I mean, particularly with William Jackson, is that just him getting used to playing more zone after having played a lot of man? And if so, why are they forcing him to play so much zone if he's better at playing man?
I have no clue. I had questions about the defense myself because we all been so excited about seeing this front four dominate, but for whatever reason, we're not getting to the quarterback. And even when we're not getting to the quarterback, we haven't mixed in any blitzes to kind of frustrate the offense in order for them to throw the ball fast. It's just like if Chase Young or Sweat doesn't beat their man off the line of scrimmage, there's no pressure. Deron Payne is getting pressure up the middle, but then the 2 edge rushers are going behind the quarterback. You have to have lane responsibilities. I feel like everybody is sack hungry right now. It's like, I got to get a sack, and no one's rushing discipline. But we also need help from the defense and throwing in a couple blitzes and to help these guys out. You know what I mean? Like, they always could slide the line one way or another. If someone doesn't win their one-on-one, that quarterback has all day to throw it with no additional defenders blitzing. And then with our corners on the outside, we just need to challenge the wide receivers. I'm not sure what zone concept we're playing, but it always seems like if it's 2nd and 20, 2nd and 30, 3rd and 20, teams find a way to pick up 28 yards on the next play. I'm like, what the heck is going on? Like, how is he this wide open? So, I haven't studied the defense enough to be like, hey, we're playing this and we're playing that. But I know as a fan just watching the game, it's like, bro, they got too much cushion between the DB and the receiver to make a catch and make somebody miss and get 20 yards. It's like, Jesus, we were just in second and 20. I was at 31.
Generally,
like
is that
year.
on the coordinator or the players? That kind of cushion on the boundary?
A little bit of both. Like, those are two veteran corners. So they understand how to play each and every coverage, and hopefully they'll play it to the best of their ability. But Jackson was a press man guy. So I would love to see him follow the number one and press him up. Fuller, the same thing, So I don't understand why they're playing so far off the ball and it's allowing people to catch the ball under them and make a tackle if they make the tackle, because there was a lot of missed tackles last game. So we got to get this thing figured out.
Chris and well, anybody can answer this, but and this is not to throw him under the bus. I'm actually a fan of his. But what do they do with Landon Collins? Because he's getting picked on now. Like that when they see him, especially playing deep, they're picking on him. And he's at his best near the line of scrimmage. Everybody, I think, can agree on that. But how can they figure out a way to cover up what he's deficient at? Because he literally got picked on all day yesterday.
And they need to play him almost like a Jamal Adams get played, blitz the hell out of him. Just make him an extra rusher. Make him almost like a nickel linebacker so he could play a little bit, but he's in that box. Because being in coverage and being in the open field, that's just not his specialty. Being in the box, being that extra safety down, reading to see if the running back is going to run or blitzing, I think that's where he's at his best. When you got him in coverage and trying to cover, the best tight ends, he wasn't that great at that even when he was at his best in New York.
Yeah.
And maybe the injury to Bostic allows them to move him down a little bit more, or at least get Cleek Hudson on the field. Something to give us a little bit more speed out there. It feels like we're lacking speed. Although Holcomb had a good game yesterday.
Yes. That was definitely his best game of the season so far for Cole Holcomb. I was a little worried with I think he had like some type of hand injury, but he came back, played very well for the rest of the game. But yeah, I believe that with John Bostic gone, and I'm not wishing anything on him at all, but that will give Jamin Davis, Khalid Hudson more opportunities to play. I agree that Jamin Davis, just let him make the mistakes. He's a rookie. We've seen he looks completely different from the guy that we saw against the Chargers to what we saw against the Falcons. That is literally almost a totally different player. He's diagnosing things better. Most importantly, he's confident. He's already has all of the physical tools. Just let him go out there and play. And I agree, like our defense can't get much worse statistically. And it's crazy too, because entering this game, I believe we were a top 3 tackling team percentage-wise. And everybody was saying like, well, once we average that out, we're going to have a really bad defensive game because guys are putting up points against us while we're one of the best tackling teams in the NFL. So once we have a bad tackling day, it's going to get really ugly. And then that happened. I'm pretty sure they're going to work on that because even like guys that are dependable, Deron Payne missed the tackle. So I think that was more of an anomaly. But I think we'll get everything together at the end of the day.
Most of them tackles are happening 20 yards downfield.
20. The one, I mean, he ended up hurt for real, but I had one of the moments where I thought Bostic was faking hurt. When he missed that clean tackle on Mike Davis. And then he went and broke through about 3 more tackles to go into the end zone. I was like, come on, Bostic. That's the old I'm hurt trick, but he was hurt for real. He was really hurt.
Chris, what does the body feel like on a day like today after spending all day in the trenches?
You kind of don't know because after you take your Toradol or whatever your pain medication was, you really don't know what's hurting until Tuesday. Because Monday you're kind of still numb to all your medication. And then on Tuesday, that's when you kind of be like, oh, what happened to my ankle? I got to go in for treatment. Oh, what happened to my forearm, my bicep? It's like, oh, this stuff, something got tight. but you always find new injuries on Monday and Tuesday. And that's why I kind of don't I hate the idea of Thursday night football, because when you get to a game on Sunday, your body doesn't even really start feeling normal until Thursday. And normal is like, hey, I'm hurting, but I could get through practice and I could be all right. But on Thursday, it's really when you really just start feeling non-hurt from the game on Sunday. And then you go back out there and play a game on Thursday. That's why you see so many injuries on Thursday night, because guys aren't ready to play. Their body hasn't had enough time to heal from the last beating it took on Sunday. You know what I mean?
They used to a lot of them games, because when they first started Thursday, it was only like the second half of the season, and a lot of them teams were coming off the bye. And then when they went to all season, it became all bad. That's why those typically the worst games of the week too.
Yeah. I mean, just look at the injury report for the last game. It was terrible. And it's like you're losing key players. But the NFL, you know how they are, man.
Money and more money.
Bottom line, man.
Not that bad.
How much money can we get? They done added an extra game and all. How much money can they get?
Speaking of money, they gave John Allen the bag this year. Just how good it's hard to know sometime, I think, as casual fans about the D tackles, but he's playing really well this year.
Him and Deron Payne, they're both playing well. And that's why I said we have to play discipline as a defensive line, because anytime you have an interior lineman, I believe Deron Payne had 11 hurries or pressures in the game the other week. And anytime that happens and he doesn't have sacks, that means either the defensive ends are playing selfish or they're really just not on the same page. Because if I'm getting this much pressure up the edge, up the middle, that edge should be tightening down. It should be someone over top or underneath so this quarterback don't have anywhere to step up. But if you watch the film and it's keep happening over and over, whether it's Chase or Sweat, it's like they get all the way upfield and get around the quarterback and rush behind the quarterback. Not at quarterback, even if there's good interior pressure, he has somewhere to step up, extend the play, and that's how we're getting beat deep all the time, because we're just not on the same page as a defensive line. If we get on the same pages where we got the interior guys pushing the pocket in the middle and then those edge guys really bending that edge and not rushing behind the quarterback, we'll have a lot more sacks. And if we don't get there, that quarterback now has to throw in a little pocket with people all around him, and that's so uncomfortable. Even if you see something like Tom Brady last night, Bill Belichick and Josh McDaniels knew that Tom Brady does not like people around his feet. He doesn't like pressure up the middle. They sent all the pressure up the middle and made Brady do what? Scramble out the pocket, which is not something that he's the greatest quarterback at doing, throwing on the run, and that frustrated him all night. Just by sending that simple pressure up the middle and making him have to run and making him uncomfortable. But that's how you do it defensively. You got to keep switching it up, and that's what I feel like our defense isn't doing. We're just like, hey, we got a great front four. They're going to get there. We're going to sit back and play coverage, and that's just that. And that just hasn't worked out for us, because our front four, as great as they look on paper, they're not getting to the quarterback and or hurrying the quarterback up to make fast throws. So even if we are in zone, he can make a bad decision. We can pick it off. That's just not happening. You watch the game, you're like, man, can we please just send one corner blitz, 1-0 blitz, especially after watching Baltimore play. It's like, Jesus, like, you get a sack. It's like, jeez, can somebody else come free?
Kendall Fuller's probably his best play this season was that blitz against the Giants where Jack Del Rio finally sent them. He got home.
Right, he's sitting on the corner blitz.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm like y'all. I see us giving up 415 yards a game now. Sending blitzes is not going to hurt.
Right.
We giving up the plays anyway. We giving up like almost 60% on third down. Sending extra men is not going to
hurt. It'd be 30-18. It'd be 30-18 too.
And they get 24.
Man,
That's right.
I'm never
or they
seen
give up
like
the penalty.
Yo,
It was insane. You
Look,
beat your head against the wall watching
that Chase Young penalty yesterday, man. Look, I mean, it was some bad reffing throughout the whole league yesterday, but that was just egregious, man. Like somebody said it perfect on Twitter. They said the problem was before, like plays for Chase Young before that even happened, because he done caught a couple roughing the passer plays in big moments too. So the one time he decides to pull up, essentially, and because Matt Ryan was off balance and just like shove him, he gets a rough in the passer penalty anyway for pushing him in the chest. That was just so retarded, man. I was just like, come on, man.
And what does the coaching staff say to you when you get to the sideline there, Chris? They just say, to hell with it, nice play. I mean, on to the next one, or what?
Yeah, it is. Try and be careful next time. I don't know what to tell you. Like that's just it's football. I can't coach you up on that. I'm sorry the ref saw it that way.
And then he goes and yells at the ref for a while, right?
Oh yeah,
definitely. There's definitely a couple of F-bombs dropped.
And
then you go back and apologize and say, "Hey, great job, ref, on that holding call. Finally got it today."
Oh yeah.
Puma Man 41 went off yesterday.
McKissick, yeah. He got
elite speed.
Elite speed.
He's playing every bit as good as Gibson right now. It's incredible.
When they started putting him in the game, I think it was the last game, and they was actually letting him run the ball, so you didn't know. Basically, him and Gibson are interchangeable at that point. They both can run, they both can catch. I think that was the key for unlocking McKissick, because before, when they were putting him in, you always knew it's a passing play. They're not going to run the ball with him. So putting him in early, letting them run, get some runs in. Now they're identical. They're the same back.
And he might be the best blocking back in the league right now. Have you seen some of those blocks he lays down?
He's definitely the best on this team.
And I don't know what it takes that small to be willing to put your head in on a 330-pound man, but he's in there doing it, and you got to respect him for it.
Guts. Take guts.
And when he's heavily involved in the passing game, it just seems to be the games we have our best result. I mean, he was heavily involved in the passing game against the Giants. Scott Turner, made up and down play calling, but in that Giants game, matching him up against a slower linebacker on that wheel route that led to the Ricky Seals-Jones touchdown was great. And whenever he's heavily involved in the offense, we put up points. Even last year, he bailed us out quite a bit of games. Now, he has a tripping fumble problem where he just suddenly falls while nobody's near him. But other than that, man, I'm so thankful that we brought him in as a really clutch free agency signing 2 years ago.
I don't think Washington uses JD and Gibson enough as pass catchers.
Yeah.
Together and as pass catchers on wheel routes, angles, just the different routes that we know they can run. They're like slot receivers, and I don't think
good, but then you gotta realize, our offensive line may need an extra back there to help with a little chip here and there.
That's true. That's true. Especially on that right side.
Right. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're already on quarterback number 2. And the season just started. You know what I mean? So
Chris, what does it feel like when you think you've got that quarterback in your hands and realize, it's a slip screen and everybody's running by you? I'm curious what it feels like in that moment.
Oh man, that's what all coaches coach you up. It's like, oh my goodness, you didn't see that slip screen coming. You've been pass rushing all day and didn't get past this guy. Now you become the best pass rusher in the world. Turn around, plant your foot in the ground, and come back to the screen. But it's just like, oh, my move finally worked. No, it didn't.
With it's day to day for the tight end, Pooh. So it looks like you're gonna get some Samus Reyes next week.
Hey, listen, why not? Listen, I say this. I'm going to say this again, though. I say this every week, fellas. This is literally year 2 of the rebuild. This is year 2. Now, we had a terrible division last year, went to the playoffs at 7-9, gave Tampa Bay all they could handle. It was actually Tampa Bay's closest game they played the whole playoffs. But this is year 2 of a rebuild. Like, most of the players on this team are 26 and under. Let the young people play. You got to know what you have sooner or later. You definitely better know what you have before that franchise quarterback come along, whenever that is, whether it's next season. It's not going to be him. I love his moxie, but it's definitely not going to be him. That arm is a little too
you
little
could
too
see
soft.
where it lacks some juice on, like that throw to 17 right in front of the goal line. Not only does he wait, but he just doesn't have the zip that guys get.
They gotta get more experience, man. They gotta get more experience, man.
I don't think he can work on that arm velocity. I think that's gonna be what it is at this point.
He can move around the pocket, man. That dude, he makes magic, man. He's like Fitz Magic 20 years ago. You know what I'm saying?
I do think that's fair. Comparison. But it's interesting. There's some guys like that teammates just respond to, right, Chris? I mean, because it feels like the team is kind of galvanized around that guy, and he's got them juiced up a little bit.
Without a question, anytime your backup quarterback can come in and move the ball down the field the way he's been able to do it, it's always like, hey, as long as we give him the ball, we have a chance, because he's going to try everything possible to make sure that we get this touchdown. And every time it seems like he's been put in that position where it's like do or die, he just squiggle around and make some type of hero pass, hero play, and it just works. It's like, no. Oh, great catch.
He's great against a tired defense. So once a defense is tired late game, he eats up. I mean, he gets it.
That's why I don't understand why. I mean, I understand you kind of want to have some type of ball control and give your defense some rest. But our offense is so much better if we ran that fast-paced offense. He seems to thrive in that 2-minute pace. So if I was the coaches, I would just run up-tempo and not allow teams to really substitute and just kill it. Even if you're not going like at a fast 2-minute pace, you can keep that defense on the field. You know what I mean? You just line up and make them feel like you're about to snap it and then go through your offense. Make all your little checks. Lucky, Ringo, da.
Yeah, that's the point of having versatile players.
Right.
Like y'all can go about 2-3 before we sub you out.
Right. He might not have been running last week, but you notice he was running the ball this week with the scrambling.
Oh yeah, throwing through picks to do that.
Nice to have a quarterback that looks like he knows how to slide. So I hate a quarterback that fumbles and bumbles his way for 2 or 3 yards. Yeah, he looks like he's played baseball before. I like quarterbacks that played baseball before.
I love RG3, but he would hit the back of his head on the ground almost every time he slid, and it was very worrisome for sure.
Boy, who you telling? We had to play with him. It was like, bro, get your ass out of bounds. Hurry up. You don't need that one extra yard.
Stress.
He was so gifted, and I feel like his whole life he was always a step faster than everyone. And then when he got into that league, that step faster, he still was a step faster, but those middle linebackers, those defensive ends, they coming to kill. They ain't trying to just tackle you. They trying to hurt you. And it's just like in college that worked. But in the NFL, well, Haloli Nada tackled him, man, it was crazy. We watching it from the sideline. His leg just literally just it hit his thigh.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It was like that was the weirdest. Nada's force was so powerful.
Right.
That his body was trying to go one way, but he sent his leg back the other way.
Exactly.
That was the craziest.
And it's almost like you're watching the game like, what happened? Like, how did he get hurt?
Yeah, he's like,
you watch that thing in slow motion, you see that leg go.
Because he didn't hit the leg.
Right.
Like, that was the thing. He didn't hit the leg.
Right.
But the leg whipped like it was hit.
Right.
What's the bigger jump from high school to college or college to the pros?
High school to college.
Really?
I felt like, because you got to think a lot of guys play feeling like, hey, I'm going to go to a Division I college or I'm going to make it to the NFL. Well, a lot of guys just play just to play. And if you wind up getting a scholarship, it's like, oh, it worked out. You know what I mean? And for me, I didn't play football until my junior year in high school. So I had plans of going D1, but I never played organized football because I was always over the weight limit as a youngster. So that's why I played basketball my whole life. So I gave football a try my junior year, was just athletic and ran around and knocked people around. And I didn't understand the game of football. I didn't really understand how to really get in a good stance. So you kind of learn and become a man and really learn how to play football in college. So I feel like the transition from high school to college is where you really learn like really what's going on. When you get from college to the NFL, you pretty much know what it takes to play in the NFL because most big time colleges run their programs the way the NFL team run practice. And NFL practice is easier than college practices. College practices are so much harder. You know what I mean? So
Chris, you're from Connecticut, right? So that's why you like grew up more basketball and things like that rather than like the South.
Well, it's not just because I'm from Connecticut. I mean, Connecticut is a big basketball state. It's more basketball than football. But I couldn't play football growing up. Like Pop Warner back when I was young, I don't think we had Pop Warner. We had more so like town leagues. So like all the little Hartford leagues or the Windsor leagues, I was always like 30 or 40 pounds over the weight limit for the older kids. And I was like at 10. And the older team was like 12, 13. I was 30 pounds over that weight limit. Because I was 6 feet and 10 years old and like 220, 230. I was a big kid, you know what I mean? I was 6 feet, 230 with a mustache and a change of voice. And can you imagine me trying to call your daughter or something now? But hello, is Ashley there?
That's the straight.
Like,
that's the Bad Boys 2 scene right there.
Right.
Sure.
Like,
who you here for?
Right. Like, no, you can't talk to my daughter. Your voice deeper than mine.
Chris, back in high school, I'm always interested in players. You know, I know in high school players play they play all over the field. They play all 3 phases of the game. What positions did you play in high school?
I played on offense. I played offensive tackle and offensive guard. And then on defense, I just played defensive end.
Okay. No running back or nothing like that in your repertoire.
Nah, you know what? Because I started so late. I was in my junior year. You know what I mean? So I felt like I could play tight end, but we needed offensive linemen. So I was like, all right, I'm good at offensive line too. So I just played. And then we had Terrence Knight and Big Pot Rules. He was our tight end in our high school because he wasn't big like that in high school. Terrence was an all-state tight end. He made all-state tight end over Aaron Hernandez.
Wow.
Crazy, right?
Big wow.
Yeah, it took me a second to think that one through.
Yeah. Pop got big after the NFL, but in high school, he was like 240. Maybe even smaller than that.
Wow. It's always interesting when guys are like, oh, I played this position, that position, and then you're like, well, how you end up there?
Yo, people never believe Terrence when you tell them that. You know what I'm saying? Yo, Terrence I'm telling you, he was cold at tight end, bro. He had some of the best hands, and then he always had good feet because he could juke people and then he could handle the basketball on the court. But if you see that boy in open field at tight end, it's like, bro, this dude nice.
And I believe Jonathan Allen was recruited to Alabama as like an off-ball linebacker, and then he gained weight and moved to defensive line, I believe. And then it looked like it on that 2-point conversion where he had that pass defense. He looked like somebody that used to be a linebacker.
Maybe. I mean, everybody played everything, you know.
Hey, you know how Nick Saban do. You come in as a safety, now you're a linebacker. You come in as a linebacker, now you're on the D line. That's how Nick Saban do it. Yeah, that's how he run his program.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Well, they got another game against New Orleans coming up. Let's real quick. You think they got a chance in this one? What are we looking like? It should be a winnable game again, but I'm sure New Orleans is thinking the same thing.
Yeah, New Orleans, I don't know what type of team they are right now.
Right.
like I don't know who they are. They came out and showed out against Green Bay, and they have not been impressive since week 1.
But even when you say they showed out, bro, Jameis had like 5 touchdowns and had 130 yards passing.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. That's true. That's
Yo,
like
I looked at the yardage. I was like, I'm thinking I'm about to see like a 400-yard thing. That thing said 142. I was like, 5 touchdowns?
yeah, getting a lot of chippies.
Right.
We should be able to score some points against them. That should definitely happen. And I'm just looking for this defense to show some improvement. Like defensive line get together, linebackers feel your run fits better, secondary get on the same page. I'm just looking for improvement on the defense at this point, because Jameson he's ready to get the ball up. Like he's ready to get the ball up. He didn't turn the ball over yesterday. I don't know if he turned the ball over last week.
He should have.
So he's primed for a few takeaways.
He's itching. He just like
itching for it.
Let me throw that thing.
Yeah. Come on, somebody.
And this Washington defense hasn't gotten very many takeaways. They could use a couple.
Definitely. We could use some pressure. We could use some
Mm-hmm.
blitz. We could use some corners coming down and pressing these wide receivers and making it difficult, jamming them and making them, instead of them having that free range just to run around and pick their spots, make it difficult. Did you see what New England does every play? Mike Evans was pissed off every play because somebody is punching him right in his neck so he can't get off that line of scrimmage. And then we just letting guys run free. But it's so frustrating for a wide receiver to just get popped at the line of scrimmage, because now your whole route tree done messed up where you thought you was going this way, but you done got jammed. And now you got to take 2 steps backwards, It changes the whole game.
Yeah, because
when do players start getting frustrated at the coaching staff? Like what part of the season are you guys like, come on, man, at what point do we pivot here? Why are we not pivoting?
When you on that last game where it's like, hey, if we don't win, we're not making it to the playoffs, or we just don't have a chance to make it to the playoffs, now you like, all right, listen. Let's just find something to make it work, because we ain't making it to the playoffs anyway. So it can't just be all us all the time. You as a coach got to put us in the right position. And then when you put us in that right position, we have to, as players, make those plays that we're supposed to make. But if the coaches are putting you in position to make plays, then you can't complain. But if you feel like you're not in the position to make plays and play at your best, then that's where we have the divide between the coaches and the players. Because it's like, hey, I've been playing press corner my whole career. Now you want me to play off man or vice versa. You know what I mean? Because that was kind of like what we had with Josh Norman when he first came. We had him playing off the ball and then just playing one side of the ball. And then we had Breland on the other side. But we're like, bro, we just gave this man $80 million. You better follow Antonio Brown ass around his field. You know what I mean? We're like, bro, of course they're going to put Antonio Brown on the opposite side of the field. They know you stand on this side. And what happened? We had to watch Antonio Brown twerking all year.
Oh yeah. He lit Breland up that game. He lit him up that game.
But you know what though? It happened. It was a 3-week period where it's like we brought Josh Norman in, so we like, all right, now we about to see what this man really made of, because we had Odell Beckham one week, we had Antonio Brown the next week, and then we had Dez Bryant the next week. And they all did the same thing. Okay, Josh, you want to stay over there? All right, we're going to line our best guy up here on Breland. And then we like, yo, we know Breland a dog, and he going to give you his best. But at that time, if you're paying Josh $70 million, put him on their number 1 receiver. Like, why do we have him just sitting over here, bro? Like, come on. Like, he's sitting over here covering the 5th best receiver and talking about he had a great game. Well, ain't nobody gonna throw it to him because they're not looking at that receiver.
Who was that? Joe Barry?
Yeah. Yep.
Hey,
but I think halfway through, I think it just became like, listen, we don't care what Breland may be saying. He feel like he could cover number 1. it don't matter what he feels like. Put Josh on another one receiver, let him play both sides of his field. Like, we're just wasting one of our best corners just sitting on the other side of the field because no team's gonna put their best player like on that side knowing Josh is there. Why would I put him on it? I'm just gonna line him up on the other side and put the guy who we know we're not throwing the ball to on this side of the field. And they kept doing that all week. With us as players, we looking like, bro, hey Josh, you see that number one guy? What's up, bro? And then we started making that change, though. But we were just like, he ain't gonna say nothing, and we need to say something. So it just was what it was, man. But that's the kind of stuff that happens in the locker room. You know, it happens every day. But people want that challenge. And Josh wasn't the type of guy that backed down from a challenge. I didn't feel. But at the same time, I didn't feel like he was the first to be like, hey, let me follow Antonio Brown. You know what I mean? He was like, all right, you want to do it? Go ahead. Let's see if you're a number one corner, too. I'm going to sit over here and chill. I'm going to get my bread. You know what I mean?
DJ Swearing just spoke up and he got cut.
Cool.
Well, I heard DJ knocked him out at practice.
Okay, that'll get you cut too. That's like when Michael Westbrook and what was the running back name out of Georgia? Davis.
Yeah.
When they got into a fight, nobody got suspended though. They got into a fight in training camp. Yeah. Nah, that was DJ Swearingen. He was mad. I don't know who was the coordinator then.
Gruden was the head coach then, right?
Gruden was the head coach.
Probably Greg at that time, maybe. I thought
Manusky.
I think it was Greg.
Yeah. He gave it to him. He was like, y'all not putting us in the position to play our best, and he was gone the next week. Well, probably because he knocked somebody out.
Well, Swearinger, he's never been one to hold his tongue. You know what I'm saying? Like, whatever he feel, he gonna let you know. And you like that as a player sometimes, because he always got that edge. He like if if a fight is about to happen, you ain't got to look back to see if Swearinger gonna be there to fight with you. You already know he don't probably already hit somebody before you be like, yo, chill.
Man, well, listen, we're gonna wrap this up, man. We thank y'all guys for joining us today. First, Chris, can you let people know, where to find you, your socials, what you got going on, what you got coming up?
I would love to give you my Instagram or my Facebook, but it don't work no more.
Nah, it's down. It's out for the count right now.
No, let me look. My Twitter is at cbakerswaggy, and my Instagram is if it works at BigBake92. So follow me on Instagram, follow me on Twitter. Look out, I'll probably have some announcements in regards to the Chris Baker Foundation and the camps that we may have next year, and also our turkey drive that I do in Connecticut for Thanksgiving. So I'll keep you guys posted. Thanks for having me.
That's indeed. You back in Connecticut now?
I go back and forth between Connecticut and Tampa. I have my trucking company in Bloomfield, Connecticut.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
All right, guys. Appreciate it.
And Rico, what you got coming up?
Yes, sir. You can find me Street Scores you can see it everywhere. I'm so used to spelling it out, though. That's just my whole speech I run through. You can find me Twitter, Street Scores ATL, on YouTube, Street Scores. Just did a full-blown, almost 50-minute review of the game, instant reaction. I was there at the game from Atlanta, so that was big. And then I did a full injury breakdown, updates on everybody that's come out so far today. But, of course, we'll get more information Wednesday. So all Burgundy and Gold content coming up. Anything? Oh, and I'm not sure if anybody knows, if you have NFL Game Pass, the All-22 film is finally, they're finally getting it to us. So I'll be doing film sessions as well.
That's what's up. All right, fellas. We appreciate y'all coming on today. Had a good time.
Thank y'all.
Thank you very much.